For over 1,500 years, millions of pilgrims have climbed the wrong mountain. But hidden in the forbidden deserts of Saudi Arabia lies a peak that matches every single detail described in Exodus, and authorities don't want you to see it. A 60-foot granite boulder split perfectly in half, stone altars with bowl carvings, 12 ancient pillars, a summit burned black by supernatural fire. This isn't the Mount Sinai in Egypt that tourists visit. This is Jebel al-Lawz in Arabia, heavily guarded and fenced off by military forces. Why are they hiding the mountain where God gave Moses the 10 Commandments? Subscribe immediately because this hidden archaeological evidence proves the Bible's geographical accuracy and connects to prophecies about truth being revealed in the last days. The physical evidence is documented, photographed, and undeniable. Deep in northwest Saudi Arabia stands Jebel al-Lawz, a mountain that perfectly matches every biblical description of Mount Sinai, yet remains heavily restricted by military forces. The evidence is overwhelming. A massive 60-foot granite boulder split perfectly down the middle, with ancient water channels carved at its base, exactly matching Exodus 17's account of Moses striking the rock. Stone altars constructed of large flat stones with bull and calf etchings, perfectly matching the golden calf rebellion in Exodus 32. 12 distinct stone pillars arranged with obvious purpose, exactly as Exodus 24:4 describes Moses building 12 pillars for the 12 tribes. A summit visibly blackened by intense heat exposure, while surrounding peaks remain unburned, matching Exodus 19:18's description of the Lord descending in fire. But here's what makes this discovery absolutely stunning. The Bible clearly places Moses in Midian, ancient Arabia, when he encountered the burning bush and received the law. Exodus geography has always pointed to Arabia, not Egypt's Sinai Peninsula. Yet for centuries, religious tradition has sent pilgrims to the wrong location. Meanwhile, the real Mount Sinai remains fenced off, patrolled by guards, and deliberately hidden from public investigation. Why would authorities go to such lengths to conceal a mountain unless it contains evidence they don't want the world to see? Jesus declared in Luke 17, "For there is nothing hidden that will not be disclosed, and nothing concealed that will not be known or brought out into the open." The discovery of the real Mount Sinai represents this prophecy in action. What has been concealed for centuries is now being revealed in our generation. But the timing isn't coincidental. Isaiah 2:2-3 prophesies, "In the last days the mountain of the Lord's temple will be established as the highest of the mountains. It will be exalted above the hills, and all nations will stream to it. Many peoples will come and say, 'Come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord.'" This isn't just about physical geography. It's about spiritual awakening. As we approach the end times, God is revealing hidden truths that have been buried by human tradition. The real Mount Sinai emerging from secrecy parallels other end times revelations, archaeological confirmations of biblical accuracy, ancient prophecies fulfilling before our eyes, hidden truths being exposed by technology. Micah 4:1 promises that God's mountain will be established and exalted in the last days. Could the unveiling of the true Mount Sinai be part of this prophetic preparation for Christ's return? Picture the scene. It's 1446 BCE, and Moses stands at the base of a towering granite mountain in the wilderness of Midian. Behind him stretch the tents of 2 million Israelites who have just escaped Egyptian slavery through miraculous plagues and a parted Red Sea. But this isn't the familiar Sinai Peninsula that modern maps show. According to Exodus, Moses fled to Midian after killing an Egyptian taskmaster, and Midian was in Arabia, not Egypt. He married Zipporah, daughter of Jethro, the Midianite priest. He tended sheep in these Arabian highlands for 40 years. And it was here, near Mount Horeb in Midian, that Moses encountered the burning bush. Now, as thunder rolls across the desert and supernatural fire descends from heaven, Moses is receiving the 10 Commandments at the same mountain where God first called him. The geography is consistent throughout Exodus. Moses never left the Arabian wilderness. Fast forward to 1983. Larry Williams, a commodities trader and amateur archaeologist, becomes fascinated by discrepancies between traditional Mount Sinai locations and biblical geography. Using satellite imagery and careful study of Exodus, he identifies Jebel al-Lawz in Saudi Arabia as the true Mount Sinai. When Williams attempts to investigate, he encounters immediate resistance. Saudi authorities detain him at the border. His cameras are confiscated. Military personnel escort him away from the mountain. Yet he manages to document enough evidence to convince him this forbidden peak holds biblical secrets. What Williams discovered was extraordinary. The summit is visibly blackened, not from volcanic activity, there are no volcanoes in the region, but from intense heat exposure that affected only this peak, while leaving surrounding mountains unburned. At the base, he found the split rock described in Exodus 17. This massive granite boulder stands alone, split perfectly down the middle with no geological explanation for the fracture. Ancient water channels are carved in the rock's base, in a desert where rainfall is virtually non-existent. Nearby, he documented stone altars with primitive carvings of bulls and calves. These images make no sense in Arabian culture, but perfectly match the Golden Calf Rebellion in Exodus 32. Most stunning were the 12 stone pillars arranged in a clear pattern around the mountain's base, exactly matching Moses' construction of 12 pillars, representing Israel's 12 tribes. But perhaps most significant were the boundary stones. Arranged in careful lines around the mountain's perimeter, these markers appeared to represent the barriers God commanded Moses to establish in Exodus 19:12. Put limits for the people around the mountain. Whoever touches the mountain is to be put to death. Those ancient boundary markers remain in place today, still marking a mountain as holy, still warning against approach, still bearing witness to a divine encounter that shook the earth 3,500 years ago. The evidence was so compelling that Saudi authorities increased security, erected fences, and declared the entire area a military zone. The pattern of God revealing hidden truth just before major prophetic events runs throughout Scripture, and the unveiling of the real Mount Sinai fits this divine timeline perfectly. Consider Moses himself at the original Mount Sinai. God didn't just give the law, he revealed his character through visible manifestations. Fire, smoke, thunder, earthquake. The mountain became a revelation of divine holiness. Now, as we approach the end times, that same mountain is being revealed again. Look at Elijah on Mount Carmel. When Israel had abandoned God's ways and followed false prophets, Elijah called down fire from heaven to prove who the true God was. The physical demonstration validated spiritual truth. Similarly, the real Mount Sinai's physical evidence validates biblical accuracy when skeptics question Scripture's reliability. Remember Jesus' transfiguration on a high mountain. Moses appeared alongside Jesus, representing the law given at Sinai. That mountain experience prepared the disciples for Jesus' approaching crucifixion and resurrection. Could the unveiling of the real Mount Sinai be preparing our generation for Christ's return? But here's the escalating pattern. Each revelation builds toward greater disclosure. Daniel received visions that were sealed until the time of the end. Jesus spoke of hidden things being revealed in the last days. The real Mount Sinai emerging from secrecy represents this apocalyptic unveiling.
Consider the prophetic significance of location. Mount Sinai sits in ancient Midian, which encompasses modern Saudi Arabia. This is the same region where Abraham sent Ishmael, where Arab nations originated, where Islam's holiest sites now stand. If the true Mount Sinai, where God gave the law to Moses, is located in the heart of Islamic territory, the implications are staggering. It means the foundation of biblical law sits in the homeland of Islam's most sacred geography. This creates prophetic tension that could reshape Middle Eastern understanding of biblical history. When Muslim nations recognize that Judaism's most sacred mountain lies within their borders, it could fulfill Isaiah's prophecy about nations streaming to God's mountain. Every pattern points toward revelation and reconciliation in the end times. Just as the physical Mount Sinai was where God first established covenant with Israel, the rediscovery of that mountain may signal God preparing to establish his final covenant with all nations. The hidden is being revealed. The scattered is being gathered. The mountain of God is being unveiled for the final generation. The real Mount Sinai faces massive obstacles to full investigation and recognition, yet these very barriers may be prophetically significant in themselves. The primary challenge: Saudi Arabia's strict restrictions. The government has designated the entire region around Jabal al-Lawz as a military zone. Researchers are denied access, photographers are detained, and equipment is confiscated. Even satellite imagery of the area appears deliberately obscured or low resolution. But here's what makes this prophetically intriguing. The restrictions exist without clear justification. There's no military base, no oil infrastructure, no strategic installations, just an ancient mountain that authorities seem desperate to hide. This mirrors biblical prophecy about truth being revealed in God's timing, not human permission. Daniel 12:9 speaks of words being sealed until the time of the end. Perhaps the real Mount Sinai has remained hidden because its full revelation awaits the appointed time. Yet science suggests that time may be approaching. Advanced satellite technology now reveals details that ground access once provided. Social media spreads evidence faster than authorities can suppress it. Archaeological techniques advance to the point where physical access becomes less necessary. More significantly, we're witnessing other biblical sites being confirmed through archaeology. The Dead Sea showing signs of life, archaeological evidence validating biblical characters, prophetic signs multiplying globally. The obstacles that seem permanent today could vanish rapidly. Political changes could open restricted areas, international pressure could force transparency. Divine intervention could make human barriers irrelevant. All it takes is one major shift in Middle Eastern politics or Saudi policy to unleash archaeological investigation that could revolutionize biblical understanding. Jesus commanded his disciples in Mark 13:37, "What I say to you, I say to everyone, watch." The unveiling of the real Mount Sinai represents one of those things we're called to watch for. This isn't just archaeological curiosity, it's prophetic confirmation that God is revealing hidden truths as we approach the end times. Think about what this discovery means. If the real Mount Sinai has been hidden for 1,500 years and is now being revealed, what other biblical truths might God be preparing to unveil? If authorities go to such lengths to conceal one mountain, what other evidence might they be suppressing? Luke 8:17 promises that nothing hidden will remain concealed. The real Mount Sinai emerging despite military restrictions proves this prophecy in action. God's truth cannot be permanently buried by human efforts. But here's what concerns me. Most Christians are unaware of this discovery. They continue visiting the traditional site in Egypt while the real Mount Sinai remains hidden in Arabia. They're missing one of the most significant archaeological confirmations of biblical accuracy in modern history.
The faithful remnant must pay attention to these revelations. Each confirmation of biblical geography strengthens our confidence in biblical prophecy. Each hidden truth that emerges builds faith for the greater revelations coming when Christ returns. This doesn't mean we should become obsessed with archaeology over relationship with God, but it does mean recognizing when God is systematically confirming His Word through physical evidence. The mountain where God gave the law to Moses is being revealed in our generation. What might He be preparing to reveal next? Are you watching for His hand moving in these last days? Isaiah 43-4 prophesies, In the wilderness prepare the way for the Lord, make straight in the desert a highway for our God. Every valley shall be raised up, every mountain and hill made low. The wilderness where this prophecy will be fulfilled includes the very region where the real Mount Sinai stands hidden. As God prepares to reveal concealed truths, He may be preparing the way for greater revelations ahead. The mountain where God's voice once thundered with the law may soon echo again with the voice of the lawgiver's return. Every barrier erected by human authorities cannot ultimately resist divine purpose. This connects perfectly with what I shared about the Dead Sea Scrolls timing. Tap the card above to see how these hidden biblical archaeological discoveries all point to the same prophetic timeline. If this hidden evidence amazed you, subscribe right here and check out my complete biblical archaeology playlist for more concealed truths being revealed. What's hidden is being unveiled. What's concealed is coming to light. The King is preparing His return.